Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ben, the creator. I don't know why I forgot my name, but or my social media name, my superhero name. But with that being said, we're back filming another podcast, and I'm actually really excited because I'm here with a good friend, someone that I admire, and I'm not saying this because he hires me a lot, but let's keep it real. He is a really good guy, and one of the things that I really like about what he does is that his whole business model is based on being of value to others, supportive, and generally he cares about his clients and his real estate partners overall. So, with that being said, this is Antonio with the GX4 team, and this is our second interview. I think our first interview was like a year and a half, 2 years, or something like that.
Yeah, I would say about 2 years, 2.5 years ago.
So, overall, you started what in 2003, and you were like in the whole, you were in a telemarketer setting, from what I remember the last story. Can you tell us back then, because a year and a half ago you said similar the story, but this is for the new audience, so it's a reintroduction. Tell us, like, where did the passion spark back then, and how did everything go back then, dude, when you were in that telemarketing?
Dude, I'm even getting the chills thinking about it because I graduated high school in 2004. My sophomore year, the summer between sophomore year and junior year, I was playing competitive soccer. I was playing competitive sports, varsity sports in high school. And during that time, I was just all about sports, about eating right, about working out. And fast forward during the season, I got hurt. I got hurt during the season towards the end of the year, already into my junior year. I couldn't play anymore. Soccer season was over. I was going back into football season or summer camp or whatever. And unfortunately, I got hurt and I was going down the wrong path. My mom, I'm first generation in the US. Both my mom and my dad are from Michoacan, Mexico. And my mom was like, I didn't cross the border and I didn't come to this country for you to go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Sports didn't work out, but there's something out there that you could do. And fast forward, she reached out to my cousin, my mentor, Manuel Rodriguez. He's a broker out in California, and Manuel hired me as his telemarketer. Manuel graduated in 98. So
Mhm.
there's a age difference between him and I. And he was like, hey, make some calls. Back then, cold calling was a thing. So
Yeah.
I was making 200 to 300 calls a day. In those 200 to 300 calls, I was learning to not be scared of rejection. I was learning how to tailor my conversations with an audience or with the consumer. Imagine a 17-year-old kid calling a 30, 40, 50-year-old saying, hey, you want to buy or sell your house? And that was my whole job. Do you want to buy or sell your house? If they said yes, I would put them on the phone with Manuel and Manuel would take over. And then little by little, he was like, hey, you want to go to this appointment with me? And in my mind was like, hell yeah, I want to get out of the office. I don't want to
Mhm.
make all these calls. So that was my way of going out
Yeah.
there with him. And I started catching on to the conversations. So fast forward, I graduated high school. That's one of my biggest regrets now as an adult, not being able to play competitive sports in my senior year because my soccer team went to CIF championship, state championship. They lost. I say they lost because I didn't play, but they lost. And then our football team also won the championship that year.
Yeah.
So it was something that I was like, damn, I wish I would have stayed. But because of the tenacity and because of the hunger that I learned to love this business, this supersedes any championship.
So tell me your transition from like the whole telemarketing to actually getting in like license, because right now this is just telemarketing, working under your mentor. How was that transition going from that to like actually getting licensed, because you were in the retail side, right?
Yeah. So I was telemarketing with him. I was learning the ropes. I was working with him. When I turned 17 and a half, I worked with him for about a year and a half. And I don't know if you guys remember Countrywide.
Yep.
He left the broker world and he went to Countrywide. So he was like, hey, man, I unfortunately can't work with you anymore because now it's corporate and you're underage. So I started working with this gentleman called Ron Murillo in Pasadena, California. And it was still telemarketing with him, but he actually started teaching me why I was making the calls, having the conversations. And the reason behind him teaching me is because he wanted to capitalize on the Hispanic market, but he was Armenian. He didn't
Mm,
know Spanish.
mm.
So therefore, he used to teach me the structure of a loan, why we ask for certain docs, how to calculate certain things, because he needed me to translate for the consumer, for the client. So it just clicked right away. I was very good at math. So it just clicked and I was like, hey, wait a minute, I could do this for a living. Manuel didn't like Countrywide. He came back to the broker world and he was like, look, I'm back. And then I was like, by now, fast forward, I'm graduating high school. And I was like, let's go work. And we started working at Powerhouse Mortgage in Downey. And that's when I started really working with him hand in hand as a junior loan officer. And then his brother, Sergio, was the vice president or the president of Countrywide Full Spectrum Lending in Pasadena. And they were opening a branch here in Chandler, Arizona. He steps into Manuel's office and he says, hey, I need bilingual loan officers. Back then, we didn't have to have a license. You just had to be 18 and you had to be good at sales.
Oh, wow.
So long story short, Manuel told Sergio, take me. And Sergio said, no, he's very straight arrow. He doesn't like when they say favoritism and stuff like, because we're family. Sergio's in his 50s now. So our gap of age is probably 20, 25 years. No, it's 15 years.
Yeah.
Our gap. So therefore he was like, look, I'm not going to get you a job, but I'll get you an interview. If the other VP hires you, then you're on game. Like,
Yeah.
we're good. I apply for Countrywide. I get the interview. A day before my interview, I get ran over.
Oh, I remember this story.
The day before my interview, I get ran over. I go to the hospital. I tell my mom, I call my mom from my cell phone at the hospital. I was like, Mom, don't panic. I'm at the hospital. I got ran over, but I'm good. You need to come check me out because I have a job interview in Arizona tomorrow. And she was like, you're crazy. And I was like, Mom, I'm going with you or without you. You want to drive me there or do you want me to just go solo and figure this out? And my mom, she's a trooper. She's always been in my corner. She drove me to Arizona. I walk into the interview and the VP was like, dude, why can't you move? What's going on? And I was like, bro, I got ran over yesterday. He was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I wanted to be here. I want to get hired. He was like, get out of here. If you want to be here this bad, you're hired. That's how I moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
And how I started in the retail channel. And I went from telemarketing to actually doing loans. A year in, I was President's Club at Countrywide. I made enough noise where Sergio had to pull me to the Spanish team. He was like, dude, like you're a waste of talent just staying in the English division. We need your talent in the Spanish team.
Yeah.
He brought me over to the Spanish team and I was ranked number 2 in the state.
Wow.
And number 27 in the nation.
That's wild, dude. And tell me, what was your the biggest lessons transitioning? Like, I know you did retail for a couple years, and was it 2019 or 2020 where you transitioned to the broker world again? What was the biggest lessons going like from that to what you're doing now?
So going retail to broker, like everybody in retail, now knowing what I know, and don't take offense to it, but a lot of people in retail, they're glorified application takers.
Yeah.
We're taught to take an application, to go through the motions, to clock in, to clock out. And at the end of the day, that was my biggest struggle going from retail to broker, because the last company I was in was, last time I didn't want to say it, but it was Loan Depot. And at Loan Depot, it was very hard. They wanted you to get in at the crack of dawn and they wanted you to get out at the crack of dawn. Like it was 24/7. You're on point, you're working, you're pushing. 2020, my daughter was going to be born, my second daughter. and she was born March of 2020, right before COVID. And I remember I submitted for paternity leave because I wanted to see my daughter be born and be with her and so on and so forth. And they told me no. They were like, no, you can't. You're a top producer. You're getting leads. You have a lot of deals in place. If you leave, we have to reassign your pipeline and other loan officers have to get paid.
That's wild, dude.
And luckily or unluckily, however you want to see it, COVID hit. Everybody transitioned to work from home. My daughter was born, so I moved to work from home. And when in that moment that it was like, I've been working retail my whole life. I've been the top producer, but I've always was scared to bet on myself.
What was your motivation like especially in COVID times to pretty much go solo entrepreneur, dude? Like how that's wild.
Back then, my daughter Gabby started playing soccer and she had practices 2 nights a week. And then she had games in the weekend. And my wife used to take her to practices and I used to go to her games. And my wife was pregnant at the time with Anna Victoria. And then when Anna Victoria was about to be born, I can't be at her birth. So at that point, I was like, look, I have to say bye to corporate. This is the best time for me to do it right now that I'm working from home, that COVID happened. Rates are at the all-time low. I know a lot of people were refinancing still. It wasn't a buyer's market. So my family, my 2 daughters that were getting older, one of them just started life. My other one was starting sports. I wanted to be there for them. And I started seeing the sacrifices that my wife was doing for our family. So one day I woke up and I told my wife, what if we put our house on the market? She was like, what? Why? And I was like, we bought this house in 2015. It cost us like 140 grand. At the time, the house was worth around 285, 290. I was like, we have about 100 grand, 150 grand in equity. We sell the house. We pay 1 month worth of rent or 1 year worth of rent. And I use the rest of the money to break out of the handcuffs of a W-2. And she was like, you're crazy. Like, how are we going to sell our house? She's from Mexico. She's from Guadalajara. And in Mexico, you're born in one house, you stay in one house, you never move. And the idea of just selling the house was ridiculous to her. She was like, nope, this is not going to happen. So fast forward 48 hours later, she comes up to me and she was like, are you sure? And I was like, do you think I would put you and our daughters in jeopardy? And then she was like, all right, let's put it on the market. And we put the house on the market. The property within 24 hours, because that's when COVID happened and everybody started buying a house.
Overpaying.
Within 24 hours, we got 15 or 16 offers. First weekend of being on the market. We put it on the market for $279,900. We accepted an offer at $340,000.
Wow.
We put that money, we closed on the house. Our realtor did an amazing job. She was my friend at the time. I was doing refi, so I didn't have relationships with realtors. Wendy Garcia, she was my friend at the time. We sold the house and I put that money away. I paid for 1 year worth of rent. And that's what liberated me to go into the broker world, to have the nest egg, to be able to break away from corporate. But what gave me the drive was my family. And my wife has always been my rock. I don't know how many wives out there would be like, hell yeah, let's sell the only asset we have to bet on our
100%.
business.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best decisions we've made.
For me, like I know how it is, like starting something from nothing and building something for yourself, like in building your going this route. What's been a challenging situation that you remember and that you had to overcome going into that transition, dude? Like,
The biggest challenge when I came to the broker channel, I have to give credit where credit is due. I partnered up with a friend of mine. His name is Jeff Diaz. He had the Diaz team at Barrett Financial. He's the one that got me on board, and I was part of his team. When I started on his team, he taught me a lot. He helped me shave off a few years of the learning curve within the broker world. But from the get-go, I told him, like, hey, I want to be part of your team. I want to learn as much as you can. I got to pay my dues. But I want to start my own team. I want to start my own company, have my own. I'm not leaving corporate to go work for somebody else again.
yeah,
And that was the agreement. I stayed in his team for about a year. And then after about a year, I branched out on my own. My biggest challenge, that's when my biggest challenge happened, because I already had 5 or 6 real estate partnerships. I was already averaging about 2 or 3 loans a month, but I had the infrastructure. I had the infrastructure of his team, his processing, and everything that he had already in place. At that point, I was a processor. I was the application taker. I was a marketing. I was the janitor. I was doing it out of a spare bedroom in our apartment because our house was being built at the time. So it was just interchanging hats. My day started like at 4:30 in the morning. Sometimes it was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning of the next day. And I was still awake at my computer because throughout the first half of the day, I was working on the pipeline, pushing loans in. The second half of the day, I would go network and connect with realtors and do all the lunch and learns and all that good stuff. And then the last part of the day was like, let's capture more applications, push more files in. So it was a nonstop.
was it a struggle?
Super struggle. It was a very struggle because I was on team no sleep. My girls were growing up. My daughter was still going to school in Maricopa, even though I lived in Ahwatukee, because I knew we were building another house in Maricopa. So I didn't want her to, I made a decision. I didn't want her to struggle with changing friends, changing school and all that.
Yeah.
So I still had to go drop her off at school. And then we had a newborn at home. My wife's a trooper, hats down to her. To this day, she has never complained about how long I work. We're a team. We have one mission. I communicate with her. And there was times that we would go to California because I don't know if you remember, I'm licensed in California, Arizona, Oregon, and Colorado.
Yeah.
So there's times that I have to go travel and connect with those agents out there. And my wife was like, I'll drive. You do your applications. You do what you got to do. Be on the phone. And she would take full range. So this business is a family business.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest struggle right there, that there's only 24 hours in the day and there was only one of me.
Wow. So overall, I've known you for a solid, what, 2 years now? A little bit more than
A little
that?
bit
2.5
more.
more. Yeah, 2.5 years. And conversations that we had in the past, you and I, that it's not all like right now people see you and you're pretty loud on social media. People know you. People are starting to recognize the name and you're creating a buzz. Like what mindset or what shifted that you went from struggling to like right now, like that you're thriving, dude, and you're like overall like winning and successful? Is it a mindset or what do you think?
A lot of learning, a lot of humbling. I don't know. A lot of people throw this term a lot, fake it till you make it. And in our industry, people have that backwards, in my opinion. Like fake it till you're making it is not faking that you're closing a lot of deals or you have great relationships or that you're doing the volume that you're doing, because everybody puts a different facade on social media. My definition of faking it till you're making it is being in rooms that you don't belong. I don't mind having friends or being in rooms where I'm the one with the least amount of success in that room. My bank account is the smallest bank account in that room. My book of business is the smallest book of business in that room. I know that eventually I'm going to belong in that room. So I like to put myself in those rooms and faking it till I'm making it like I belong in that room, because I want to be of value. I want to be of service to those individuals that are there, because I can learn from them. And when I learned that, and when I started adapting that in my business twofold, and they're human just like us. And they start teaching you things, they start giving you golden nuggets, they start giving you opportunities that you wouldn't have, or I wouldn't have, if I didn't fake it till I made it, with humbling myself and putting myself in those rooms. Because we could have easily go into those rooms and be like, oh yeah, I close this, I close that, I do this, I do that, like me type of scenario. And they're just gonna shine you off, because they're gonna be like, yeah, you have a Movado, I have a Rolex. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a differentiator, in my opinion, and just helping as many people as I can.
So one of the things that I really admire and have a lot of respect for you is that you really focus on building relationships and being part of the community, and even to the point where you're even organizing networking events or even the hiking things that you do. How do you feel, or not, that's not the word I'm looking for. Like, how did that, having that strategy affect your business going that route? Because as I was licensed for a long time, I've been in the industry, and obviously right now, because of where Money Mental Heart Media is, we're servicing that industry. And I saw something in the past, it's changing. I feel like it's shifting, but it was like, here's my hand, give me. And nobody wants to give you a hand. Like on the opposite side, I'm saying as a realtor, that's what I represented. But how did that affect, or how did that contribute to what you're doing now?
So I used to go to events, and part of our industry is knowing other professionals. And I used to go to events, and when I was in those events, I wouldn't know how to network. I wouldn't know how to connect with people. When I start having a conversation with somebody, like my conversation is, I'm trying to be genuine. Like I'm trying to connect with you. I'm trying to get to know you. I don't want anything in return. So when I used to go to those events, I would feel like I'm talking to them because I want business from them. I want to connect with them for them to give me leads, or for them to give me opportunities to grow my business. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to start building my own events where I'm not that guy sitting in the corner, just not talking to anybody, not knowing how to communicate with these people. So I'm going to start building events myself where I'm going to create a community where everybody talks to each other. And I don't know if you've noticed in these events, and I've never said this on camera, but the first person that I talk to in every event is the guy or the gal that's sitting in the corner. Because that reminds me of me.
Yeah.
I go talk to them. I see how they're doing, what they're up to. I connect with them. I don't pitch them. And I bring them to the circle, and I leave them with other people in the circle. Nice. Because we all belong. We all are here to help and service and help everybody grow. Yeah. Like one of my models is, if I help more professionals grow their platform, their business, my business is going to grow in return. Yeah. And that's why I started building a community, building events, and doing things different.
And not only that, you also build a team. Like, with those same principles, how did the GX4 team start? Like, ¿de dónde nació eso? Or in English, where did that come from?
GX4 2020, I was with Jeff Diaz. 2021-ish, 22. Let's say 2022. It was like March 2022. Branched out. And it was Tony. Or Antonio Pérez, which was my old logo. I'll send it to you for you could put it in the video. From there, it was a one-man show. I remember I went to this open house. I went to an open house. And the open house, there was a realtor that I was trying to connect with. We went to the open house, and then the owner of that house was a loan officer. The loan officer was barely starting in the industry. She was also coming from retail into the wholesale. And she walks in. I remember she had the pink acai drinks from Starbucks. She walks in with 2 drinks because she knew that the realtor was going to be there. And her mind was like, it's my house. There's an open house. I'm a realtor or I'm a lender. Let me go connect with the realtor that's going to be in the open house. So she walks in with 2 drinks and she gives it to the realtor. And I'm like, I'm there. And then she was like, oh, the realtor was like, oh, this is my lender. He came. And then she was like, oh, I'm a lender. And long story short, I didn't make it awkward. So I started having a conversation with her. And I was like, hey, how are you doing? What are you up to? Where do you come from? And then I noticed she was new because of the way she was carrying herself. And she was, I want to get out of here, even though it was her house. And I made her feel welcome. I added her on Instagram. She added me, and we kept connecting with each other. And we stayed friends. And every time she needed a few things here and there, she'll ask me, I'll ask her. And it got to a point where I was very busy. I had a lot of clients, which I appreciate. And I was like, hey, you're always asking me questions. I'm always answering them. We're always working with each other. Why don't we partner up? And then she was like, oh, yeah, I would love that. So we worked it out. We partnered up. She came over to Barrett. And it was her and I. It was a 1-2. It was a 1-2. And she ventured out to do her thing. I continued doing my thing. And then fast forward a few months later or a year later, we reconnected because I was like, dude, you're still asking me a bunch of questions. Like, why don't we stay as a team and actually cement, or we make an agreement and we have a team and we have a contract and all that good stuff. So then she was like, okay, let's do it. I'll mentor you. And so it started as a mentor. And then from there was a friend of hers that we met. It was a mutual loan officer. Then she started asking her questions like, hey, how is it working with Tony? Or how about this? And how about that? And she was leaving a different team. So long story short, I met with her. We had a powwow. And then she was like, what if I join your team? And then I was like, I'm not building a team, but yeah, let's do it. So then us 3 started working together. And that's when I was a solopreneur, faking it till I made it, thinking I had a team. Does that make sense?
100%.
And it was Antonio Pérez and girls. Well, that wasn't the name, but there was no...
Y los Bukis, yeah.
Yeah, y los Bukis. We don't have a team name. So then I told him, like, hey, I want to come up with a team name that it doesn't have my name, that doesn't have anybody's name, everybody could use and everybody could build. So I was like, I gave him the task, come up with the name. I come up with the name and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it took me about 1.5 to 2 years to come up with the name. And it's the GX4 mortgage team, which is the 4 Gs, which is the 4 pillars of what I stand for and what everybody in our team stands for. We grind together. We grow a community. We grow our platform. We grow our business partners' platforms. We guide our clients, our realtors, and we give back. That's what we stand for. Grow, or grind, grow, guide, and give back. So I was like, the GX4 team, what do you guys think? And we send it all out. My brother-in-law, Luis, He's been there from the first day I went into the broker world. He started helping me here and there. He started like an internship type of thing.
Mhm.
He was going to school for marketing, and I was like, hey, help me with this, help me with that. Now he's with me full time. He's my right hand man. He essentially, the logo that you guys see, he built, he created. I just gave him the ideas, and everything on my social media, he created. And we had our GIF event that you
Mhm.
went. So then that's when in that event, another buddy of mine was like, hey, this gentleman wants to join us, but we don't have the bandwidth because we don't have the production. Would you be interested in bringing him on board? And I was like, I'm not hiring anybody, because at the time I still didn't think, okay, we're building a team.
Yeah.
So then I was like, have him come to the GIF event. I'll connect with them and we'll talk. And this guy had hunger. He had spark. He had the 4 pillars of GX4. So then I was like, hey, tomorrow you want to meet up for lunch? Let's talk about coming
Was this
on board.
Christian?
No, Jorge.
Oh, Jorge. Okay.
Jorge. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. He was at a different company. We talked. He came over. We had a whole conversation about it. And he joined. He was the first actual member of the GX4 team.
Nice, dude.
And then that's how from there David came on board. From David, Christian came on board. Luis came on board. Steve is the newest member in our team, and Claudia. So now we're cooking with some oil. Now we are a team. We are GX4. Antonio Pérez no longer exists.
That's awesome, man. And what do you feel? I know, I mean, my perception, but I want to hear from you. What do you feel that makes the GX4 team stand out compared to other mortgage teams or mortgage companies out there?
We think outside the box. We are very innovative. Everybody knows how to do loans. Everybody knows how to close fast. Everybody can issue a pre-approval. That's not what we stand for. We want to help our community. We want to help our realtors grow their brand, grow their business. And even though everybody's part of the GX4 team, I tell them, like, you guys have free for all. Build your own brand, build your own community within GX4, and help as many realtors as possible grow. I have 23 years in the industry now, 23 years of knowledge. Between the whole team, we probably have about 50 years of experience. So that's something that makes us different. We're always doing events. We're always catching. I came up with this phrase. I don't know if I invented this phrase, but I don't remember hearing it anywhere. But attention's a new currency. If you catch attention, you will catch more clients. You would be able to catch more opportunity. You would be able to essentially have more currency.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do. We try to give agents as much attention as possible to help them grow, to help them
impact more families.
And we're just trying to help one family at a time, one home at a time.
Tell me, how do you guys support like your first time home buyers, and what is something that with the community that, like, a lot of people that you help out, like, what is an impact that you feel like that you're most proud of when you're serving your buyers, not your real estate partners?
Numbers and money follow, they don't lead. And it's going to sound cliche, or it already probably sounded cliche, but I don't pay attention to my commission, or I don't pay attention to how much money I'm going to make in a transaction until it's time to submit my submission form, is when I know how much I'm going to get paid on a transaction. So if our client wants to do a down payment assistance, if they have to do conventional, if they have to do FHA, if I give my client my word that I'm going to get you home, I'm going to get you home without thinking of a paycheck. I'm thinking of how my word, my commitment to you to get you home. And we're going to do the best loan possible at the best cost possible. And believe it or not, there's deals that I've done where I have to pay my fees to the brokerage because something happened a month along the deal that I had to give away my commission to buy down the rate or whatever the case may be for that client to go home, for that client to be able to deliver keys.
Wow.
And 10 out of 10 times, I wouldn't even think about it. I would do it. Because what I do is I do it out of passion. I do it out of love. Obviously, this is how I feed my family. It's a business at the end of the day. But I'm not going to let a paycheck dictate if somebody's going to have a house or not.
Wow.
And everybody in our team, I try to teach them to think that way and don't let their numbers and their money lead. Let it just follow their passion and let it follow their success.
I love that, dude. And for the GX4, what's your vision for the next, I don't know, let's say like next 5 years, and what kind of impact do you want to make in the industry? It's the last question before we wrap this up. This is you better think this through.
So the GX4 team, I get the chills when I think about it, but what I want, I want to build a legacy. I don't know if you remember this conversation.
I do.
But 5 years ago, I was like, my mission, my goal was to get into a position where I break the generational curse. Like, I'm first generation in the US. My mom and dad live paycheck to paycheck. They live paycheck to paycheck. They live through an employee, like, let's say for a rainy day type of thing. And that's how I grew up. And my job was to get one step further from there based on the hard work and efforts that my family already did for me. So I still had the generational curse of saying, I'm not going to be a millionaire. I'm not going to take my family to the next level, my legacy, but I am going to get them close enough where my daughters will be.
Yeah.
And after learning, after reading, after surrounding myself with other entrepreneurs, I am going to get there. And everybody in the GX4 team is going to get there. We're going to get there in the right way. We're going to get there by doing right for our partners. We're going to do for our clients and never taking advantage of anybody, doing it the right way. And where I see the GX4 mortgage team being here in the next 5 years, I see multiple teams within the GX4 organization, but as a company. And that's my passion. That's where I'm leading towards. And that's at the end of the day where I want to be. That's what we're working towards. I want to build a platform where other loan officers, I invite you to join us. Don't fight us because you're not going to win. Just join us, see the vision, see the tenacity, feel the pillars, and grow. I'm going to say this in Spanish, el sol sale para todos. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. And just know that if I compete with myself, the likelihood of somebody else winning is very slim to none. So GX4 mortgage team is here to stay, is here to grow, and it's here to be the largest, most impactful Hispanic brokerage in Arizona and eventually in the country.
Wow. Woo. I think I got goosebumps, dude. I can see the passion, dude. And I do remember that conversation that you and I had. That moment. I was there. Like when you said, you know what? You let go of those limited beliefs. I'm gonna make a difference and change that. So that's pretty dope, dude. I'm lucky to have you as a friend, dude. And for anybody that's watching, realtor, loan officer that wants to level up, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
First, the piece of advice, be true to yourself, be true to your family, let go of your limited beliefs and just push forward. If put yourself on camera, put yourself out there. Like you don't have any growth. You don't have any growth if you're not willing to put yourself out there, be vulnerable and push yourself out of those limits. And if you don't have the equipment or if you don't have the tenacity or you feel like you don't have it and you want to put yourself on camera, send me a message, give me a call. We'll work together. We'll partner together. We'll essentially help you create content. If you're a loan officer, I'm not in competition with you. If you need help or if you need an opportunity, give me a call. If you're a realtor and you're like, Tony, I like you. I want you to help me grow my business, but I don't want to do loans with you. I have no issues with that. I'll still help you. Helping hands are out there. Very unselfish. Just pick up the phone and make the call.
Awesome, man. And people want to connect and actually ask you for the help or the support. How can they reach you? What's your social media handles? Call to action. What's that?
You can reach me at Antonio, the GX4 Mortgage Team. That's my Instagram and my Facebook. You can send me a message, text message, or give me a call. If you go into my Instagram page, you're going to see my number everywhere. Every post has it. Sometimes there is times that I try to go looking for agents and they don't put their phone number for some reason. Put your phone number. That way people could get a hold of you. So you could call me, text me, or follow me on Instagram.
All right. If you guys want to give me a follow, also, I'm at Ben the Creator 88. And Antonio, I really appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you for your friendship, and I'm excited for the future, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. Thank you.
We'll check in 2 years, see where we're at.
All right.